Millennials, what do you think we're gonna possibly see in our lifetime? The cure for cystic fibrosis. It's getting very close. I'm very optimistic my daughter will be one of the first people to say they had CF. With CRISPR and other gene therapies being successfully deployed for other genetic diseases and the CF Foundation's work on payloads, I think we're only a decade or maybe 2 decades from a cure. Hopefully CAR T-cell therapy being extremely effective in eliminating cancers and systemic diseases. I'm also hoping to see more gene therapy. I hope I see us all being able to relax, afford a decent house and get married if that's what we want. I just want to wake up next to someone I like in my own home. I don't know why this is suddenly some kind of fantasy akin to winning the lottery. Our healthcare system collapsing when all the baby boomers need end-of-life care at the same time. Large-scale terrorist attack. Levels of inflation. Assassination attempt. Check. X200B. Hopefully nothing else. The fifth dentist will finally cave and they'll all recommend Trident gum. I'm sure we'll keep seeing more once-in-a-lifetime events every goddamn well goddamn. I didn't expect this sarcastic comment to get as much traction as it has. I appreciate you all for the upvotes. Hope you have the day you deserve. I live in the Northeast. I'm convinced we're less than 10 years away from having our first winter where we don't get any snow. The last few years have seen very little and it melts quickly. Maybe we will live to see a single decade that doesn't involve a once-in-a-lifetime crisis of some kind. Hopefully my wife actually breaking down a cardboard box before throwing it in the recycling bin. With the progress we're making with medicinal science, I guarantee we're gonna witness designer babies. With CRISPR gene editing, the concept of genetically modifying fetuses and enhancing human features are becoming more and more a reality. Although it's not gonna be to the level of Space Marines not get anyways haha, but it's gotta be like the movie Gattaca, good movie BTW or very close. With the elites getting most of the premium upgrades. On a positive note, our dogs will likely live longer. A hurricane so big it has tornadoes and causes an earthquake which triggers a volcano. We'll probably experience the rise of AI therapists who can finally explain why our Wi-Fi drops out every time we're winning a game. For the love of God. Can someone please come up with a positive list? I don't want to think about how much more terrible shit I get to see. I just hope my daughter gets to have an awesome happy life. Considering the pace of technological advancement, we might see widespread use of autonomous vehicles, major breakthroughs in AI and biotechnology, and possibly even human missions to Mars. I'm tired of once-in-a-lifetime tragedy happening twice every 3 months. The era of multifunctional robots. I'd like to think the end of some of these geriatric politicians, but at this rate we're just gonna end up with Mitch McConnell's head in a jar Futurama style. Loaded question here. I think it's possible we see everything we fear coming to fruition. I also think it's possible we see everything we've ever dreamed of. Nothing else, please. I want a quiet, boring, uneventful next 20 years. Please. I think we're likely to see significant shifts in our lifetime. The impacts of climate change will probably become more evident, pushing us toward more sustainable living and energy solutions. We might also see further advancements in medical technology, potentially extending our lifespan and improving quality of life. Social changes, like evolving views on work-life balance and mental health, are also on the horizon. It's a transformative time, with both challenges and opportunities ahead. I see space tourism becoming a real thing in 25-35 years at our current pace. Potentially war with China over Taiwan. They're currently sniffing out weaknesses in our West Coast civilian infrastructure. Climate collapse, followed by climate wars, followed by the end of the current world order. What emerges I have no idea, but it's happening already. I give it until 2050, maybe 2075 on a long forecast. Most of us will see it. The middle class crushed so hard we fight back. It's already started in my opinion. Matter of time before it breaks and rich can't hoard it all. Mass migration within the next decade due to resultant climate change and ecological collapse. Economic collapse as well in many countries. Social and wealth divide will become appallingly scaled. Unfortunately it's not a good outlook. Arable land is looking to be burned out if we keep to our current maxims, and the planet has no issue rushing past our laughable 1.5°C goal. Some posit that civilization will kick the boot by the 2050s. Globally. On the plus side, we may see the end to cancer, diabetes, cavities and such. However, I wish we would focus more on the house, rather just the inhabitants. We are not living in nature, we are a part of nature. As a millennial, I wish to see in my lifetime some brakes applied to this collision course, and in the meanwhile I'll turn my lawn into a garden. I'm gonna be optimistic and say that we will see the insane clown posse in the WWE Hall of Fame. Lots of negative stuff being shared, and I agree there are going to be serious environmental and social challenges. But look back over the past 100 years, humanity is tough as shit and bounces back from what seem to be catastrophes, often within a couple of years. On a more positive note, we are quite possibly going to see cancers that previously had a 55-year survival rate go up to the 90 range due to mass personalization of medicine mRNA tech in a decade or two, other things in the pipeline. Also, Alzheimer's will hopefully be eminently treatable by the time we start to get hit hard as a generation in our 70s and 80s. Millennials are tired, man. We've been through some tough shit. Learned about blowjobs because of our then president, came of age during 9/11, became adults during a terrible recession, politics the last 8 years, a pandemic. Half can't even buy homes. We need simple shit like gardening. I don't need to see anything else. Nope. Collapse of the US. Pressure people hard enough and eventually they pop. I think the lower economic classes are eventually going to protest cost of living and corporate greed. Most cataclysmic breakdown of our financial system since the Great Depression. Think the Colossal Depression. And it's already beginning. For a lifetime, we might even see a revival of 90s fashion trends that make us question our teenage photos, but this time with added virtual reality filters. Fascism in the United States. Not hyperbole. Too many norms have been broken, the republic is weak and the core root issues of American democracy are not being solved. Gerrymandering, political legalized bribery, 2 senators per state, voting laws designed to disenfranchise people, the cap on House members near 100 years ago. Electoral college, judges in place have allowed one party to not be forced to moderate itself while still holding so much power and allowing their dog whistles to go from covert to overt. The outcome of the election was already stolen by the Supreme Court once in our lifetime that lead to 2 massive long-lasting and destabilizing are playing into Popper's paradox too much as well. You cannot tolerate intolerance or it insidiously takes us. Not even just about Trump. Even if he loses, he's just a symptom of how much we have slept. The forces that led to him being acceptable and normalized are still there. Just the usual: self-driving cars, AI taking over most jobs, climate change chaos, possibly colonies on Mars, and maybe, just maybe, affordable housing. Fingers crossed. Rocket, Africa, crystal ball. Possibly? It's possible we transfer our consciousness to computers and never die. So I'm hopeful for maybe finding the meaning of it all if it really does shake out like that. 24-hour work week. Universal basic income. Working fusion reactor. Earth's population hits 10 billion. Publicly agnostic US president. Africa's green wall finished. Mass climate migration on every continent. Probably all of the worst things. But American millennials were absolutely treated to the best childhoods in human history. Which is sadly why you see so many adults retreating into nostalgia in an overwhelmingly unprecedented fashion. Africa, Southern Mediterranean, Europe and the Balkans will reach wet bulb climate. If the Russian hierarchy falls, Siberia will get way more populated. Mostly by people from the Balkans and MENA. The Saudi monarchy going bankrupt. A major war in East Asia. Southern US shortage globally. A population of 4 or 5 billion. That results in significant mobilization and activation of the draft in Western decline due to the combination of said war, the concentration of wealth away from the middle class, and increased natural disasters.